Hello and welcome to the Success Showcase. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin with the Modern Observer Group. And with me, as always, is Chip Janiszewski from the Happiness and Success GPS. Chip, how are you doing this week?
Doing great. How about you, Eric?
Doing fantastic.
Getting very psyched for Thanksgiving, my favorite holiday of the year.
Yeah, we're getting ready. Families already started to arrive. People have hit the road going where they're going.
Yep. Hopefully Wednesday will be a decent travel day here, but I hear if you're coming in from different parts of the country, it could be difficult.
Yeah, we've got some freaky weather going on around the country. Hopefully it won't keep anybody from getting to their Thanksgiving dinners on time. And today, because we're recording this Thanksgiving week, we're going to do our annual show about gratitude. Because that's what Thanksgiving is all about. And realistically, it's what the whole holiday season is about, and that's what we're kicking off.
Yeah, and the bottom line is if you make your life about gratitude, you're going to have a whole lot better life going for you, too. I mean, there's two ways that you can look at every single instance, and we talked about that. You can look at things negatively or you can look at things positively. And although we will always have negative reactions to things, which is initial feelings, we do have the opportunity every single instance for every single event to pause for a second and let our response be positive regardless of our initial negative reaction. And really, that's what gratitude can help you do more and more and more, because the bottom line is, if you really take a look at things, you're going to realize that gratitude overpowers negativity every single time. And there's a lot of different ways that we can talk about that today. But one of the key ways to do that, one of the first books about the law of attraction was The Secret. And she talked about, Rhonda Byrne talks about gratitude. And one of the things she talks about is what's called the shifter. And that could be a positive image or a positive feeling that you always have in your mind. And anytime you have a negative thing go on, you automatically think of that positive reaction or the positive picture that you have or the positive feeling that you have. Negativity is never going to go away, but you feel a lot better when you're feeling good than bad when you're feeling bad.
Absolutely. It's so important. And it's not just about, an abstract attitude. We all have a lot going on in our lives. And, I don't like to talk about politics on this podcast. We have other podcasts in the Exvadio network where we talk about politics. But there are a number of presidential candidates right now whose whole campaign seems to be, well, they have more than you, and that's not fair. And I think we really need to look at ourselves, because even the poorest people in the United States are among the top 1% globally. And even when you're feeling, oh, well, I don't have everything that I would like, things are, we're struggling, you really need to take a good look at what you have and how much you have, and understand that there are people all over the world that would dream to have as much as you do. And it's important to be grateful for this.
And the bottom line is, a lot of those people who wouldn't mind having as much as we have or more and are living in what we call very, very poor circumstances as far as material goods are among the happiest people in the world, because they really, really get it. There's a movie, I think it's called Happy, that talks about that same thing in an interview. It shows the lives of some people in a lot of different areas of the world who are very, very happy. And then it shows a death of somebody in their 30s in Japan, of a father who's just work all the time. And all of a sudden his wife found him dead in his 30s because all he was doing was stuff for material goods and that kind of thing. And it's what he was driven for. It's not that was what the whole life was, but that's what a lot of cultures drive people towards, that, ignoring the fact that the most important thing in life is coming from your heart and being happy with the people and the circumstances that you have, just as you said.
Right. I mean, the two biggest enemies of gratitude are jealousy and envy. And, if you're looking at other people and comparing yourselves to them and trying to keep up with the Joneses, it never works out well because you never feel you have enough. So you're always trying to outdo somebody. And, we talk a lot about self improvement. And when you're focused on gratitude and grateful for what you already have, it allows you to open up and you're not competing against others anymore. You're competing against yourself to be the best person you can. And that's really the mindset that we need to focus on because, we all want to improve. But
Yeah,
if you're doing it out of jealousy, if you're doing it out of envy, then you're never really going to be happy with what you're accomplishing.
yeah, and as you just said, really the reason for that is you're competing with yourself. The bottom line is you have wonderful things going on out there too that other people are jealous of you having. And if we just compliment people instead of get jealous about things and look at things, compare ourselves, complimenting instead of comparing. We talk about turning one things 180 around, and that's one of the keys to gratitude. Every negative thing out there, there's an opportunity in that obstacle to your gratitude. And you can think of anything that comes up, you can think of something positive that's 180 degrees different from that. Maybe it's hard for you to accomplish or whatever, but if you start thinking about that, that will help you moving in the right direction because the bottom line is most of what's wrong is just a perception of yours that's not really real. And if you write things down on paper, all these different things that you think are wrong, and you really, really look at them, you're going to realize that most of those things are self-inflicted and they're just things that you're worrying about, and you're the only person that can correct that, not the other person out there. So if you appreciate other people, that's one of the best ways of showing gratitude is appreciating others. And you know what, they're going to feel good when you appreciate them, but that's what's going to make you feel so much better because it's coming from the heart. It's just honest and sincere appreciation. It's unconditional giving, and that's something to strive for, and it's very easy to do once you get yourself into the habit of doing it, appreciating instead of looking for something that's wrong.
Right. And I like what you just said about perception because perception changes from person to person, and none of us really perceives things the same way. I've had a couple of incidents where someone comes up to me and they know my business or they know something that I've been doing, and they tell me how impressive it is. And my perception is, well, I'm just doing things. It's not terribly impressive. It's just what we do. But to somebody else, it looks so difficult. And we overcome so many things to do what we do that sometimes other people can see what we have better than we can. And it's important to really, put yourself in someone else's shoes and take a look at yourself from the outside and see just how much you have and how much you've accomplished and overcome. And then once you've looked at all of that, it does become much easier to be grateful for what you have and what you've done.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the keys to doing it, which we've talked about a lot, is developing and maintaining a positive mindset. And what that takes up front is working on yourself. We've talked about the power of a victory log, which the next time you look at other people and you see all the different things they have that you wish you had, what a victory log is taking out a sheet of paper, or I recommend putting it in a spreadsheet so that you can look at it all the time and sort it out in the different areas. But from day one in your life, you write down all the accomplishments that you ever had in your life, all of the different fun relationships that you've had, all the awards and so on and so forth. And you're going to be writing pages and pages and pages of great things that have happened to you, great things that you've done and accomplished. And the next time you're feeling down, just go take a look at that list. And then the next step is to start a gratitude journal, which is every day writing something that you're grateful for or something great that happened to you. You can do it in a lot of different ways, saying, I'm grateful for this person and this and that, whatever. What I like to do every day, which I've been doing for the last 6 years, is my gratitude journal is just a spreadsheet where I list all the dates of the year down the left column. Then the right column, I just write comments about what happened the day before that was really cool. So I can actually go back and review my life and all the fun things that have happened to me and wonderful things and great things, and even the things that made me a little bit sad but appreciative of the people that I was with for the last 6 years. And that's a pretty cool thing to do. The bottom line is what I'm talking about here is if you can start every day with a positive morning routine, hint, hint, turn the news off, you can really, really start your way towards making things better, because the bottom line is the way you start your day is normally the way that your day is going to continue on. So my tip number one, obviously starting a victory log and a gratitude journal is good, but if you do something every day to start your day in a positive manner for at least 10-15 minutes, it's going to make the rest of your day seem a whole lot better. Whereas if you get up with a negative routine, listening to the news first thing and whatever, and hearing all the bad stuff that's going on, it's bound to make your day miserable and easier for you to be grumpy and jealous of others and thinking that you're lacking.
Absolutely. Start the day right. You know, there's the old saying, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And the whole reason behind that was that this gives you the fuel to get through your day. It kickstarts you. Well, doing something to put yourself in a positive mindset works the same way. This is the fuel that gets you through the day and it propels you. And you really do have to look at what you've got, not just in terms of things, but in terms of people. And like most of us have a group of people that we know if we send up a flare, those people are going to come running to help. And it's great, and you should be grateful to those people. But within that group, most of us usually have a handful of people, maybe even just one or two, that these are the people who are there when you don't send up the flare. These are the folks that they can tell when something's wrong and they're there for you. And that's something very special. And not only do you need to be grateful for people like this, you need to let them know. You need to tell them, yes, I am so happy that you are a part of my life. And spreading that, letting people know, saying thank you for just little things that happen, not only make you feel better, but make them feel better. And it spreads that attitude of gratitude.
Gratitude is contagious. And one of the things you can do the next time you're in a group of people who are starting to trash somebody is maybe say something positive and say, hey, let's do something radical and have a positivity moment and say something nice just for the sake of doing that. And seeing the way that makes other people feel. I mean, you and I both teach gratitude as part of the way that we teach. And it's contagious. It is absolutely contagious. And the bottom line is people don't hear about that enough, and they love hearing about that kind of thing. So one of the best tips that I have for you out there is just take a look and try and appreciate things that are out there instead of being picky and look at the things that are wrong. Find gratitude in your challenges. The bottom line is whatever challenge you have, once you get by that challenge, you will have learned something and it's going to make you better for it. Practicing mindfulness is a huge part of it. And that's really, if you can just get this one thing down, it's going to help you big time as far as being grateful for things. And all that is, as we talked about before, is instead of just responding with your initial reaction, one of the best responses you can have after you react to something negatively is to just be silent for a little bit without judging things, and maybe stay silent instead of doing anything at all. But the most important thing is you have to live in the present, because if you dwell in the past, which is behind you, you are your own worst enemy and you're kicking yourself because there's nothing you could do about it. If you're worrying about the future and what might happen and how other people might affect you, that hasn't happened yet either, and you're wasting the present moment. That's all we have. So if you can groom